Eddie Frrderick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frrderick can deliver. Eddie Frrderick has got it all.
Welcome to EDDIE-FICATION, made possible by the efforts of the Center for Democracy and Good Governance, CDGG. The Center for Democracy and Good Governance is a sound organization established to promote and strengthen democracy. For too long now, our generally perceived poorly educated electorate have fallen victim to the cheap and inferior propaganda of those seeking to hold others captive under the guise of democracy. Gladly, the CDGG uses EDDIE-FICATION to help to actively pursue a sustainable approach to reorient our people towards the importance of electing and selecting people of good character to public life. Through EDDIE-FICATION, we will highlight the importance of education appropriate to our development, proper healthcare and facilities as our right, respect for law and order, not to mention upgrading our people's thinking so they could become qualified participants in the democratic process to their advantage. After all, Grenada's national constitution makes allowances for the ideal of free men to enjoy freedom from fear and want, which can be best achieved if conditions are created whereby everyone may enjoy his economic, social and political, civil and cultural rights.
I want the best for my family, so every meal has to be perfect. Every bite has to say, There's no doubt in my mind that the best in frozen meats and vegetables has to come from the Country Cold Store. Hams, turkeys, sausages, beef, pork, chicken. I just don't know my family is in safe hands. Thank you, Country Cold Store, for being there for us for the past 40 years.
The Country Cold Store, providing the best in frozen meats and vegetables since 1969.
Join us, Grenada, as we continue to promote a legacy of excellence through the Pure Grenada Excellence Champion Training Program. Over 1,000 Grenadians have been trained. Food, transportation, service industries, and other frontline workers who don't want to miss out on this one. Learn more at www.puregrenada.com/excellence champion or call GTA head office at 440-2001. Remember, excellence begins with me. Excellence ends with all our
Training sessions will resume on mainland Grenada from 9th to 13th October and 23rd to 27th October, and November 6th to 10th and 20th to 24th, 2023, in this year of transformation for service in Grenada. I am Eddie Frrderick, a proud partner to this GTA Pure Grenada Excellence Champion Program. Get registered and come on in. You'll never think the same again.
Eddie Frrderick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frrderick can deliver. Eddie Frrderick has got it all. Eddie Frrderick has got it.
Wonderful, folks, wonderful. So, welcome, one and all. It's open season as it continues here on EDDIE-FICATION 190. Let's get right to it. As soon as you come in, the usual thing, folks. Settle down, hit that share button. If you thought last week was hot, you all didn't know nothing yet. Let's get a move on, because this is your time to receive what you deserve. My prayer is that you position yourselves for positive returns as against all that you may have received in the past, which may have been undesirable. Come on, folks, hit the share button. Let's get some more people in, because I believe it's more or less from word go today is heat. So come on, share. Remember to hit the like, the heart, the care, the follow, and even make your comments profusely as usual, so that you can help make this as interactive as only you can make it. This is, after all, your program. We are happy to have you, so welcome. I'm so excited. I started hearing Christmas music, and of course, you know, you can't get any better than that. Even the outside starts to look and feel different. I had to tell somebody the other day, come on, if we really pay attention, we will see. Every October, towards the second half of October, we get a lot of thunder and lightning, not so much rain, but folks, it is the atmosphere that is changing. So you have two different, temperatures of air and clouds meeting at the top there. And that is to show you and to herald in the new season, the Christmas season, whatever weather goes with that, that's what's coming. That's why we start feeling a little cooler in the evenings now, because it's registering, it's taking up residence. Of course, last year it came with a whoosh and lasted for a pretty long time. We were cold for a long time, which was very welcome, because the heat that followed was a little unwelcome, wasn't it? But be that as it may, folks, it's just a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful time to be alive, because we can see, in spite of all the negatives and all the nonsensical pushbacks, we can see that the God force is working very, very hard in the favor of transformation. It is about time. Good. Allow me, the privileged folks, to thank all of you, those of you who private messaged me to support my candor and frankness, and even gave me more fuel for future reference. I want to thank you. When I tell you that I have files, oh Lord have mercy, all you must think is joke I'm making. The files are full to overflowing. Even the second edition of the biography of a thief is complaining that it can't take more updates. I may have to have a third edition after all. First, the incontrovertible information that keep presenting themselves are hot and unbelievable, even to me. Yet so many people could still be blindly following the subject of such biography. Oh, Gede. Before we get into the meat of our discourse here today, folks, I invite you who regularly, tune in, and you who have not yet followed my Eddie Frrderick page on Facebook and my channel on YouTube, do so, please. Follow, subscribe, do what you must, so that you could be in, like all the others who enjoy unfettered access at their convenience. Our topic today: Goodbye Wishy Washy. Grenadians deserve much, much better. And that is so true. But you know what happened? A lot of the Grenadians who know that they deserve better, they relaxed for a long time, and worse continued. And that was so regrettable. But when they couldn't take any more, they came out to change that. Well, you have to keep coming out, folks, because those who are accustomed to largesse and freeness and have become what you may call entitled and totally dependent, they're not letting up, They're lining up for a return. So you have to stay awake to keep them gone so that they could change their culture, because that culture did nothing, absolutely nothing for this country. So this topic, Goodbye Wishy Washy, Grenadians deserve much, much better, is really something for us to think about and think about seriously. I just want to thank Dr. Sonia Nixon for her influential role that she played in my topic here today. And it's unknowing to her, really. I had to send her a little text because it's a little message she sent me that influenced my topic choice for today. Unknowing to her, she sent me the topic. Isn't that interesting? But you see, I pay attention. And that is why when you pay attention, you bingo. You can score big. You see, based on my public sharing of commendation to all who delivered at the highest level, that well-produced package of activities to mark the launch of our celebrations in favor of our observance of 50 years as an independent nation, Dr. Nixon's response was so poignant that it rang out, and I thought, wow, let me advise her to not be surprised that she sees her response
highly flavoring my next edification topic. And here we are. Dr. Nixon, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I thank God that I usually pay attention. You see, under the stale old farts of the low-life leader that our generally bouncing low culture, or better put subculture, tolerated for such a long time, I could not fathom what our celebrations activities would have resembled when all the missing links would have converged to so observe. I too am glad to use Dr. Nixon's actual words. Sayonara, wishy-washy. We deserve only good things. I could not imagine us having such a high quality of individual in office as Prime Minister today, replacing such low life that a majority saw to it that they went back for seconds, thirds, fourths, and even fifths, and almost went back for a sixth helping, and having anything less than the level we saw for a launch on the Carnage last Tuesday evening. Hip, 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 hooray to all who helped and contributed. This kind of bouncing low, head for the basement kind of culture that we have in Grenada here must stop. We are capable of better, as has been demonstrated by the launch package that we saw and we all were privy to on Tuesday last. This is when we can proudly say Grenada to the world. We start to look fresh. Our youthful population start to feel involved, bringing to bear their creativity and talent on things national. Thank God the dustbin days are over, and we have to make sure they remain over, as Grenada has no room for Oscar the Grouch and all his garbage anymore. Good riddance to them all. You see, what we saw last Tuesday afternoon into evening was a great demonstration of true Grenadian quality and style. Interestingly, all the people who were involved were marginalized by the old nastiness over the extended period he was hogging the public stage here in Grenada. As a result, the pool among the vote farm to choose from proved wanting, and hence we always had to settle for mediocrity over the years. Grenada is truly on the rise, with professionals being empowered once more to reflect us as we truly deserve en masse. Goodbye, wishy-washy. Grenadians deserve much, much better. You see, last week when I spoke as unafraid as I usually do, in an attempt to clear up the notion of the faceless or a faceless monster, I know you thought, wow, that man ain't easy now. Actually, I have heard that as a feedback. That's the kind of feedback I love. So people learn how to become an indomitable spirit, fearless. You see, when people use loaned state power as a weapon to humiliate others who share different views from theirs and therefore don't support their organization or entity, they have to be careful, because they may just be preparing for a karma they could never handle, even as much as they try to choreograph it. Look at the old nastiness, for instance, and recount all the stories that match that insipid behavior over the extended period of grandiose power. If that old nastiness had any good intention for Grenada, that said old nastiness had all the time, chances, and opportunities to so do. But because of his inherent inferiority and serious challenges in the department of character, his intentions were never good. Could you imagine getting 3 opportunities, 1, 2, 3, with absolute majorities, and that old idiot of a sucker never used them to better the lot of the mass of his support base, except to try with special zeal to continue to suppress and oppress them into poverty and vulnerability, to make them beholden to him while he shored up his vote farm in an attempt to return to power with another 15-0, just so that he can continue to run amok over this country. All that inferior Negro was focused on was power and the trappings of office, so he could keep his wench of a faceless monster happy by allowing free reins to wield power behind the throne. Anybody who was placed in a position of authority under this old fart of an idiot would realize that he seldom sought confirmation to appoint them in their unmatched positions within the public service. And this could be all of them, but I know for sure, most of them. This was his way of control over them. So he could always threaten them if they did not toe his line. By extension, they were used to terrorize decent citizens by depriving them of their due. Some of them, their day in the sun came when they found themselves having to return to their substantive positions and crying victimization. Are you aware of how many decent people in the public service that old nastiness shortchanged using some of these same idiots over the years when he found out that they were going to build a home, but removed them from the higher positions they were acting in without any interest in confirming them, and dashed their hopes of proceeding to completion of their projects? That is a real old nastiness, and all you like him. I believe he realizes by now that the more he asks trusted people, good, to reach out to me to stop calling him the old nastiness, is the more I continue to baptize and confirm him with his rightful name. I believe he either stopped or they realized that it makes no sense and they stop short of coming. I have already told you repeatedly, he ain't good and he ain't good long. His personal business ventilated in the public domain proves every word all the time. Where are you women of substance in this community, this country, to come out today in defense of your sister in this saga, who he is obviously sucked against by his wench of a faceless monster? Where are you? You all need to come out in support and solidarity with that decent woman. Where are you? I have only seen 2 women of substance in the public domain within recent times making their presence felt. The godmother of the name Faceless Monster and the originator of the reference idiot, doting, sometimes aging man. You see why I say goodbye wishy-washy? Grenadians deserve much, much better. Folks, let's take a commercial break. And we're coming right back with some fire.
Deliver. Eddie Frrderick has got it all.
This is Edification, made possible by the efforts of the Center for Democracy and Good Governance, CDGG. The strength of views and opinions expressed during Edification are not necessarily a reflection or representation of the sponsors and or affiliates of this program.
Join us, Grenada, as we continue to promote a legacy of excellence through the Pure Grenada Excellence Champion Training Program. Over Grenadians have been trained. Food, transportation, service industries, and other frontline workers don't want to miss out on this one. Learn more at www.puregrenada.com/excellence champion or call GTA head office at 440-2001. Remember, excellence begins with me. Excellence ends with all our represent for 7
Training sessions will resume on mainland Grenada from 9th to 13th October and 23rd to 27th October, and November 6th to 10th and 20th to 24th, 2023, in this year of transformation for service in Grenada. I am EDDIE-FICATION, a proud partner to this GTA Pure Grenada Excellence Champion program. Get registered and come on in. You'll never think the same again.
We represent for 7
The hurricane season is now upon us, so we as Caribbean people need to remember to think safety and be prepared. Avoid venturing outside during a storm or hurricane, especially if there are strong winds. Rooftop and other debris are often blown about and can cause great damage.
EDDIE-FICATION has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only EDDIE-FICATION can deliver. EDDIE-FICATION has got it all.
Wonderful, wonderful. Folks, I was just trying to correct something that somebody was telling me about here. So I'm not doing too badly at all for a techno peasant. Anyhow, I think the people who help me from time to time, they're kind of a little bit proud of my progress in the area of technology. But I sincerely, let me just welcome those of you who are just joining us. And for those of you who joined us before, thank you for your continued support and your continued followership. Folks, we really and truly have to make a shift, a mind shift in Grenada. We have too many people that are inclined towards being lumpens of society. Even though it is easy for them to assume the roles and the culture and the behavior of lumpens, and they continue to get 0 in return, they seem to like it. Cannot understand, but they seem to like it. It's doing nothing for them. And they feel that it equips them now to envy and be jealous and be even malicious towards those who are applying themselves. Folks, apply yourself, man. Start a relationship with the word discipline. Go look it up, go study it, and recognize that if you have discipline, look at Kirani James. Many of us, if they put us in a room to see which one started off the poorest, we could not beat him. He will beat us. But discipline separates him today from all of us. Discipline. Discipline with his academics and discipline with his sporting prowess. A lot of you, the only discipline you have is to mind people business. Fast. All up in people mix. You're living in crab hole. You're not even seeing how you could come out of the crab hole. You don't even realize that you were one that God made so that you can break the cycle of poverty for your family. But instead, you inhale, you nurse, you I don't know what else you do. All the maladies that you met around you, and you're happy with that. You're happy to sit down and stay submerged in that. And then when you finish, now you're going to vote wrong. You're going to vote for some little nastiness that giving you a mess of pottage, a little roadwork here, holding your children and stifling them for life under some fake rubbish program called Imani. And you happy with that? You happy with that? Something wrong. A lot of you have no right. If you continue on this, you have no right to be alive. Because you're dead today or tomorrow, nobody even remember you. did an announcement. As soon as it finished, they forget you're dead. Because you came and you added nothing. You just distressed the atmosphere. You minused air from the atmosphere. You drink water and help it get scarce in dry season. You just occupy space. You took up space and you did nothing. No legacy. Folks, watch it. Watch it. And that is one of the reasons why I tell you, democracy is not meant for that type of people, because democracy presupposes its participants are intelligent, not could be used by some old nastiness, some con man, some old crook with a checkered past, to continue to keep him rich. And then he hire help, pick up some little girl to steer the ship from behind. I tell you, it's hot today, you know. Goodly folks, our race has been so brainwashed and made to believe that we are an inferior race, that we perpetuate colonialism and white superiority just by our very behavior. I never fell for this hoax of a movement called Black Lives Matter. Don't like it at all. When you look at it, we who are from a majority environment right here in Grenada, where we dominate, are always pummeled, bullied, persecuted, terrorized by our own color. At all levels. At the lowest of levels, we hate one another. At the level a little above, and that is where we mostly reside, we envy and bad talk one another to no end. Once we are able to make it above the fray, we ignore and ostracize the rest because we feel we have reached where we are going. What color and race is the old nastiness, for instance? Just look at how many people he took the power that was loaned to him in several 5-year stretches and used it against them. He duncerized, pauperized, stupefied, ostracized, victimized, and emasculated so many of his own color. Some to render them powerless and thus induce surrender in them. Others to put on his vote farm to keep him in office. Look at the large number of us who go to church and follow westernized religious practices where God is actually missing. Western Christianity is about money and prosperity. In fact, Professor Patrick Lumumba of Kenya referred to it as, and correctly so, the Jesus industry. It's all about money. A matter of fact, money and sex. We were told that we were made in the likeness and image of God. Yet for all, the only people who do not make their God look like them is us. There is no other race that goes outside in opposition to who they are and what they look like. We swallow the image others have of us wholesale, as if to convince others that our brainwashing was totally successful. Many of us think we cannot be capable of divinity and redemption, or be a conduit to greatness and goodness. Why have we allowed ourselves to believe ourselves to be lesser? We just cannot identify with a greater image of ourselves. And the few of us who can are branded arrogant and plain ting. Yet we want to mouth off that Black Lives Matter. Joke all you're making. And that is precisely why I have disconnected from all things and people who attempted to make me feel less. The things that make me question my worth and make me feel that I am not worth it. And this is where I started to reconnect with myself and disconnect from the people and things in my world that don't belong on my journey. Folks, I'm inviting you to do the same. You see, in this special season, some people have disconnected from me themselves. Too many of us block our own blessings by remaining connected with people who we should have gotten rid of a long time now. Look at how Grenada was kept in the lolly drain for such a long time. Too many of us refused to disconnect from the old nastiness and his enablers and beneficiaries. Folks, I discovered a long time now that I am not anyone's first choice nor favorite person. And I'm good with that. I love it, I love it, I love it. People might tell me that I mean a lot to them, and yet there is someone they will choose over me. And trust me, I am okay with that too. Because I'm never in relationships for patronage, I choose my relationships well. And that is why they are few and of top quality. As I continue to proceed on my open season journey here on EDDIE-FICATION, I always have to lament that those people who have gone totally silent on me, since they thought I may not have been up to the task of responding to their nonsense and taking them on, must be sorry they juked this ant's nest when they did. Because I don't plan on stopping at all. As long as the old nastiness is wound up and sent out by the faceless monster to make, listen to me now, to make an ass of himself, as he usually does obediently, I shall be here to push the old nastiness back in the bush. I have weathered the storm in the past under the hands of the old nastiness since he was a young nastiness and survived very well. I don't have an excess of money or evidence of material acquisition as other peers my age and social status. But no aspersion can be cast in my direction regarding dishonesty, corruption, impropriety, and what have you. The same cannot be said of several of them. By God's grace, my standard of living and quality of life never dropped, and I owe that to my faith and deep-rooted belief in the higher being that takes care of anyone who is courageous enough to walk the straight and narrow. You see, these morons who come out swinging after their bitter defeat, where largesse has been removed and they can no longer feed at the trough of our national treasury, did not realize that someone like me, who have their files must not be taken lightly. It's not good to push people like me too far. They must have thought that because I come across polished in the way I speak and dress and the reclusive lifestyle I enjoy, they could try to push me far, 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 because I will not react to joke among your making. Trust me, folks, I am prepared to go as far as in hell to gather evidence and witnesses to deal with any devil. I think they got to find that out. These weak, hungry infidels have me change my address to be living up their rear and the rear of the old nastiness and his faceless monster today. And I don't plan to stop. Nastinesses, to include opportunistic prostitutes, must be put in their place. Don't let my spirit-centeredness fool any of you, because this round, any of you who try to see if you could dominate, control, intimidate, isolate, destroy, curse at me, humiliate me, degrade me, while I remain as nice as I know how, well, I am at the point where I realize that it ain't working a long time now. You see this nonsense about When they go low, we go high. That is outer culture. Grenada is a place that is made up of a lot of people that need and deserve nothing but shock treatment. Bah! You have to just jar it at them. Because you see, a lot of people in Grenada feel the people they grew up with died. They think all the people they grew up with died. So they could come at you as if they're clean. I thank God for the status and standard of living that I enjoy today. You know why? Because He's imbued in me a talent. And I work hard at that talent. I don't veer off course. I stick to what I know. And I don't want favors. In fact, I use my God-given talent to offer as favors to people. And very often I do. Very, very often. I have a few things lined up just before the Christmas. Lined up. But I don't have to talk about it because that's not what genuine giving does. Genuine giving does not brag. You see, we have people who don't understand that my filters are totally off. So when you come in, come good. Remember, as long as I have my shilling in my hand, my sugar in my pan, I don't give a damn. And while we're at it, folks, rumors about me do not change the fact that I enjoy a very high standard of living and quality of life. That honest struggle keeps delivering to me over and over again. Isn't that beautiful? You see that indomitable spirit? You see confidence? That is confidence, folks. And you know why I could have this confidence? Because I'm not on the market for friends. That is a humbug, you know, folks. That is a humbug. You know that Creole word? When you're on the market for friends, you get derailed. You get derailed, folks. I'm too old to be making new friends now. Those who are friends are just friends, and they know that. And they know what to expect from me. Matter of factness. No sugarcoating. So when that dirty foot little girl, so to speak, want to soak all her lolly drained messengers at me, she really could not know who she is dealing with and who she is coming up against. You see, they themselves have to be foolish to acquiesce to her command because they're going to get eat up. I don't back down because I care too much about my journey and desired destination while trying to leave our society in a little better state when I depart from this life and planet to allow these low-life idiots to take control. Folks, that's why we have to make them stay gone. They have no good intention. These people do good. And starting with the old nastiness, and he ain't good long. I am not status oriented. I am not looking for anybody's people to get ahead in life. I have no care about what anyone says about me, because when people cannot match intellect in an argument or discussion, they usually dive into the gutter with personal attacks. Many a stupid world leader have been known to fall in total disgrace when they go after manipulative concubines, especially as they may be worth their granddaughter. Imagine a London University scholar by distance learning, like Robert Mugabe. He allowed his wife to cause him to end in disgrace. A manipulative wife to destroy him through the decimation of the ZANU-PF party and turned him into a laughing stock of continental Africa, to the point where he ended, as I said, in total disgrace. Isn't that sad? Just for your edification, folks, I want to share a little from an online article I found in my research in order to support the point of the characterless, doting idiot we are all too familiar with, who allowed himself to be corrupted further by the unthinking energies of a youthful concubine with no heart, no love for anyone, not even herself, far less to be convinced that any love was left in residue for the old geezer himself. Folks, which real woman goes out of her way unthinkingly or knowingly to destroy a man who provides her with the strings of power? Which educated woman does that? Obviously, a woman who herself has no character, and because of a poor background and breeding, ignores all tenets of decency, being blinded by all that glitters without realizing none is gold. Interestingly, the VOA Zimbabwe article captioned, "Did Grace Mugabe's public outbursts bring down 93-year-old Robert Mugabe?" Political power grabber, or just another grain of match to a burning fire? Those are just some of the opinions Zimbabweans have about former First Lady Grace Mugabe. A researcher in the Department of Historical and Heritage Studies and Center for Sexualities, AIDS and Gender at the University of Pretoria in South Africa blames Grace Mugabe for widening the factional fights in ZANU-PF. Mawiri says Grace Mugabe had usurped the powers of the president, although she was just a wife. Hey, and in brackets I had to put, not a concubine he decided to shack up with. And that was a major contributor to the fall of Robert Mugabe. Political activist and aspiring independent member of parliament for 2018 elections, Linda Masariwa, also blames Grace, Mrs. Mugabe, for her husband's ouster. Masariwa thinks the president fell because his wife had encroached onto political territory that was not hers. Again, not a concubine, a wife. Masariwa suggests that Mrs. Mugabe should be brought before the courts to answer charges that she displaced other citizens and was involved in corruption herself. Look here, look here, look here. Doesn't that sound familiar? Kilian Sibanda, who is a ZANU-PF member of parliament, says President Mugabe was a good man who married an over-ambitious woman. Remember, she was a wife, not a faceless monster. However, there are others who believe that the former president, now deceased, caused his own downfall. An acting director for Zimbabwe Democracy Institute says Grace Mugabe merely added on to the sinking boat. That is also familiar to us, isn't it? As we all know, the boat was sinking a long time now. But it was a viable alternative we did not have in sight until a young, bright, humble, and accomplished corporate lawyer presented himself, and it was downhill on a spiral for the old nastiness, in addition to the active contributions of the faceless monster. This same gumbo in Zimbabwe says Robert Mugabe had already developed strained relationships with the security sector, which he adds is the backbone of ZANU-PF. Similar, folks, as per our experience here, with our local security sector divided. Grace Mugabe was known for her rantings at every ruling party gathering. She has also been accused of pushing a former vice president out of the ZANU-PF. She also belittled government officials, including former Vice President Emerson Mnangagwa, who is now the president of Zimbabwe through the help of the army. Everything about Robert Mugabe and his demise proves familiar to us all here in Grenada. The only difference is that Grace was a legitimate wife. And so he died as a disgraced former president and never pivoted into a locksmith before death. You see, when anyone lives a wishy-washy life, it is only obvious they will bring that to bear on their professional output. You cannot get out of something or someone what it or they do not have. That's why we have to be thankful to God of our universe for saving us from the old nastiness and all the nastinesses of our society, who all they know what to do is to bring Grenada and keep Grenada in shame and scandal. Goodbye, wishy-washy. Grenadians deserve much, much better. I think I deserve a little 5 now, don't you agree?
Eddie Frrderick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frrderick can deliver. Eddie Frrderick has got it all.
This is Edification, made possible by the efforts of the Center for Democracy and Good Governance, CDGG. The strength of views and opinions expressed during edification are not necessarily a reflection or representation of the sponsors and/or affiliates of this program.
Join us, Grenada, as we continue to promote a legacy of excellence through the Pure Grenada Excellence Champion Training Program. Over 1,000 Grenadians have been trained. Food, transportation, service industries, and other frontline workers who don't want to miss out on this one. Learn more at www.puregrenada.com/excellence champion or call GTA head office at 440-2001. Remember, excellence begins with me. Excellence ends with all our represent for 7.
Training sessions will resume on mainland Grenada from 9th to 13th October and 23rd to 27th October, and November 6th to 10th and 20th to 24th, 2023, in this year of transformation for service in Grenada. I am Eddie Frrderick, a proud partner to this GTA Pure Grenada Excellence Champion Program. Get registered and come on in. You'll never think the same again.
We represent 4-7. The hurricane season is now upon us, so we as Caribbean people need to remember to bake safety and be prepared. Avoid venturing outside during a storm or hurricane, especially if there are strong winds. Rooftop and other debris are often blown about and can cause great damage.
Eddie Frrderick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frrderick can deliver. Eddie Frrderick has got it all.
Wonderful, wonderful. Oh boy, I needed a longer break. But anyhow, we have some turkeys to fry here. I told you all this won't be hot, you know. Y'all probably thought it was a joke I was making. You see, as we continue, folks, to bid farewell to wishy-washy, and the real talented Grenadians start to find interest in helping again, to elevate the image of our Spice Isle to the high level we were always known for. Young people, stay awake and continue to make the necessary sacrifice to build back the character of your native land. We are truly capable of better, and many of you are coming forward to show this. Apply yourselves and work hard until expensive becomes cheap. When this happens, you know you are making progress and that your lifestyle is taking on a new quality, and your standard of living will surely be improved. That is what is meant by growth. Only positive efforts on your part will manifest itself into the desires of your heart. For what comes easily will not last, And what is meant to last surely won't come easily. Take some serious instructions from the following command, folks. An easy life gets hard, and a hard life results in ease. The easy life is, I'm gonna just roll out of bed, state my disappointment in how short the night was. You know, the famous thing. You mean it's morning already? That kind of thing. Kind of do whatever I want, not have any goal or goals or direction for the day, not having the intention of ever being a leader and not going for the things I want and deserve in my life, and just coast. That's the easy life. We have a lot of people who have a PhD in that right here in Grenada and feel because they judge you as having, you must share what you have with them while they have an easy life. Folks, we have many among us that we know who have been taught to live like this because the political system they supported made them believe that's how they must live. Some of you on here right now are like that, but you are looking for different results. You have to be out of your cotton-picking minds to expect that lifestyle to bring any truly desirable results. Folks, let me tell you what that leads to. It leads to misery, not being able to pay your bills, not being able to build real relationships with people that support you. That leads to the kind of hard life you are living today. This is reminiscent of the many who follow the old nastiness, thought what they were experiencing and living was a desirable life without realizing that they were on a train to nowhere. And the election results of 2022 has actually taken them to their destination, nowhere, while they blame others for their poor and vulnerable state on the vote farm that the old nastiness put them on, where they remained permanently. Many of you started off young in 1995 and were properly ensconced on the vote farm with the clock of your lives ticking without realizing that you were getting older and nothing, absolutely nothing worthwhile was happening in your lives. Yet for all, you insist up to this day on supporting a man who brought you to the poorhouse and relegated you to the back, while he has millions, mean as hell, and withholding any meaningful help from all among you. A lot of you who feel a change in your life is a maturity thing. And when you reach this particular age, you will change. I have news for you folks. Maturity is not an age thing. It is a mindset thing. I know a 30-year-old young man, and he's not the only one, who thinks like a 50-year-old man. Where you get that from? Wisdom. Wisdom. He loved his grandfather, cleaved to his grandfather, full of wisdom today. He can look you in your eye. You might be older than him, but he could look you straight in your eye and exchange with you, imbued with wisdom and a powerful spirit of discernment. But maturity for him is not age. It's a mind thing, a mindset thing. You see, the hard life, which is unattractive to most, requires you to get up at 5 a.m. or much earlier in my case, work out, choose to prepare a nice clean meal as against the fast food stuff, as against just ambling through the day and answering emails when you get to work. Doing the hard stuff leads to the easy life, folks. Stop being afraid of the hard work, but know that it leads to the easy life. Too few Grenadians have the order of things right, and we find many more people are following the lifelong wrong pattern of doing the easy stuff and expecting the results to be really spectacular. That is why that kind of stupid thinking leads to stealing, cunning, bubble, and generally outright dishonesty because we want the short road to prosperity. These people's prosperity is always short-lived. Ask the old nastiness, for instance. You see, too many of us perpetual followers choose talent over character in our leaders. And we end up with nearly 30 years of a twisted culture that has helped to shape us into the basement level civilization that we reflect today, where mediocrity is the norm. Talent will take you to where your character won't keep you. You could remain as long enough as it takes people to lead to wake up on one day when they realize they are misled. They trade you in. We just had that experience here. Ask the old nastiness who has always had no good character, who enjoyed the high level of trust and authority many of you carelessly placed in his hands for so long. The gift of smooth talking, acting as if he really cared, and being able to con unassuming, not paying attention people, got him on the stage because many people were looking for the promised quick fixes. But what was missing to keep him on the stage is simply character, which he never had a good one of. In leadership, folks, followers grow more trusting of the leader when there is congruency in his actions as a person, father, husband, wife, friend, neighbor, professional. People have to be able to count on you to be honest and imbued with integrity. Not as a consummate liar that only tomfools people time and time again. Eventually they will get fed up of you and run your tail out of tongue. Goodbye, wishy-washy. Grenadians deserve much, much better. Let's take our final break and we'll come back with more fire.
Eddie Frrderick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frrderick can deliver. Eddie Frrderick has got it all.
This is Edification, made possible by the efforts of the Center for Democracy and Good Governance, CDGG. The strength of views and opinions expressed during edification are not necessarily a reflection or representation of the sponsors and/or affiliates of this program.
Join us, Grenada, as we continue to promote a legacy of excellence through the Pure Grenada Excellence Champion Training Program. Over 1,000 Grenadians have been trained. Food, transportation, service industries, and other frontline workers. You don't want to miss out on this one. Learn more at www.puregrenada.com/excellence champion or call GTA head office at 440-2001. Remember, excellence begins with me. Excellence ends with all our
Training sessions will resume on mainland Grenada from 9th to 13th October and 23rd to 27th October, and November 6th to 10th and 20th to 24th, 2023, in this year of transformation for service in Grenada. I am Eddie Frrderick, a proud partner to this GTA Pure Grenada Excellence Champion Program. Get registered and come on in. You'll never think the same again.
The hurricane season is now upon us, so we as Caribbean people need to remember to think safety and be prepared. Avoid venturing outside during a storm or hurricane, especially if there are strong winds. Rooftop other debris are often blown about and can cause great damage.
Eddie Frrderick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frrderick can deliver. Eddie Frrderick has got it all.
Wonderful, wonderful, folks. Welcome back. And for those of you just joining, because for whatever reason, you know you're late, welcome. It's a pleasing pleasure to have you in the room today. Goodly folks, the version of you that you are right now is why you have and don't have what you have or have not. In order to get and have something different, you have to make a complete identity shift. What we have been finding out here in Grenada is that too many people are not ready to do that. And what they have time for is to continue to go back to the low-hanging fruits that they are accustomed to, forgetting that if they keep on doing what they're doing, they will keep on getting what they're getting. We all showed up in this life to leave our mark in a good way. Therefore, our presence requires something different from us every day. That is why growth is said to reside in change. All of us need to focus on our destination and stop getting upset with the journey. A lot of who I am today I owe to the efforts at persecution at the hands of the old nastiness over the years. The challenges appeared insurmountable at times, but day by day I triumphed. You see, I remember hearing Les Brown, the great American motivational speaker, at a 2-week session I attended in New York in 1992 say, "Inch by inch, you make a cinch. But yard by yard, it is hard." That never left me. And so I plodded along, giving thanks for every single day I completed on my journey to the destination I am at today, where I do not cherish anything of this world except the things that really matter. You see, there is this paradox of life that proves to be of value to me, and it should be of value to you too. Too many people put too much value on the things in life that they can replace and ignore and neglect, to their peril, of course, the things that really matter, that are free, that they cannot replace. So they put the value, a lot of value, high value on the Gucci belt, the BMW car, the designer, this, that, and the other, all of which they can replace. But they neglect the things they cannot replace, like their family, their health, their mental state, their peace. Oh, what a paradox. You see, just go and ask any status-starved individual you know, who, without the material trappings of office and life, feel so wounded that they are displaying public disdain, contempt, and even jealousy towards the ones who replace them, yet for all want to demand respect from the general public. But doesn't this sound like the old nastiness, coming to think of it? Folks, as I alluded earlier, the adversities I have been through at the hands of that old nastiness who used the power of state to run roughshod over me for years truly helped to shape me into the profoundly confident person and resilient person that I am today. You see, God knows how much I endured. But like Diamond, I have been shaped under severe pressure. I am a lot wiser as to who is who among us. And that is why, listen to me carefully now, that is why I only have a very few ride or die people in my extremely small circle. I consider my dog a total blessing, and the 2 other occupants of my home, daughter, and now I believe I should call him my son. Wow, happiness comes in small packages indeed. You see why I cannot socialize with and entertain anyone in my home base who has been known to and still support this old nastiness? I don't want none of them around me, period. Too much dunceness and total deceit. Folks, believe you me, I am kind, very kind. Even though the tricksters will tell you I am hard to deal with. And you know why they say that? Because they know I am not easy to fool. And when you're not easy to fool, you're hard to deal with. I was talking to, you all know Dexter with that lovely little restaurant just going down on the opposite side of Silver Sands. I met him in the supermarket on Saturday, and we were chatting outside because we go back to our days in Spice Island Inn, not even Spice Island Beach Resort, Spice Island Inn. And he was telling me, a fella tell him one recently that he's smart. He said, I smart, nobody can outsmart me, And he said it runs so deep, it disturbed him when the fella told him that. Because a lot of people feel they must tell you they're smart, and they must tell you nobody could outsmart them, without realizing what they are actually telling you about themselves. When anybody tell you they're smart and nobody could outsmart them, that is a crook. You're talking to a crook. And they don't even realize it, because language is powerful. And you have to listen for what people do not say. And you can only do that when you spend a lot of time by yourself. So you become analytical and able to process. You see? Folks, as I said to you, I am a matter-of-fact person. I don't put water in my mouth to gobbledygook what I have to say. You don't like it? I couldn't be bothered. Because the only reason why I am eating 3 meals a day is because I can't hold 4. The older one gets is the less his needs become. He goes, you say, once a man, twice a child. Once a man, twice a child. In that, what do I mean by that? You just need shelter. A dry place to sleep, that is. You need some water. You need a little clothes to put on your back. You need a plate of food. What else you need? You need a little sustenance, a little job that supplies these things. You see, your needs just disappeared. They just went right back to basics. Because you're in the departure lounge, But you see, a lot of us don't know that. And we still continue to look for more and look for more and look for more. And that is those people that don't have a concept of enough. That's why they end up getting disrespected, justifiably so. Because they're greedy, hoggish. You're getting my drift. Folks, we're in a sad, sad way. And we have a lot of people like that. A lot of people like that in this Grenada. You see, as I said, we have a lot of people who, just out of envy, they recruit other people to help hate you. Because your authenticity is louder and more overpowering than their fake personality. And so they need help to hate you. But you know what I discovered lately? Many people cannot handle the gift that people like me tend to be. With all my frankness and matter-of-factness. Where God is taking me after he has taken me through the fire is a point of jealousy and envy for many. I therefore have no time to spend feeling betrayed and mad. Because these people who are they? Who are these people? This is precisely why I admire and hold in the highest regard the government minister A.J. Williams, our Minister of Mobilization and Implementation, in spite of all the naysayers, bad talkers, and what have you, all of whom are hungry as all hell, lacking in capacity, lacking in knowledge, in talent, wouldn't take the time to go and learn nothing. But all they have a PhD in is to sit down and find who hiring their cousin, who hiring. It's just so ridiculous when you live in a place where there is virtually no talent, including them. Those talkers, they have no talent. But they're spreading bad vibes. All you have to do is to stay focused. And A.J. Williams does that well. We need to congratulate him for staying focused. And you know what? He is staying focused and you're seeing the results. Strong people use all the demonic traits in others as envy, jealousy, malice, and just downright nastiness as fuel to convince them that they are on the right track with their lives. Folks, you have to realize that the people who are always trying to bring you down are always properly positioned under you, which is the right place for them. That's where they belong. I therefore admonish you to recognize that when God wants to bring you up, he always takes away from you the wrong people and replace them with the right ones. So positively, we must shout to the mountaintop, Lord, I want to thank you for those who can handle the blessing of me. You see, if they don't have what you need, don't listen to what they say, for there is no greater waste of time than justifying your actions to anyone who has a life you do not want. And because you are confident of this, you must recognize that nobody watches you more and pay attention to you more than the people who do not like you. It is your job to give them a show. And that is precisely why I give them a show every Sunday via Edification, with your help as a wonderful audience. They so not want to be seen watching live with you, and so they wait for it to become something they can watch without you knowing that they are watching. Then there is the old nastiness and his wench of a faceless monster who are looking privately to see what they could find to sue, without realizing that I don't give a damn. I thank God that the brand of politics, where the old nastiness says one thing in the public and his poor and vulnerable followers want to hear all that he says, with many of them accepting foolishly what he says as genuine. When he goes to what's left of his mouth on the ground team, privately telling them otherwise, you know, it's really, really tomfoolery, you know. I'm so glad that brand of politics done. Let us make sure it stay done. Imagine that old nastiness covers that kind of behavior, telling people one thing and doing something else under the guise, this is politics, man. That's politics. You have to know how to play the game. So playing game with people's lives. And saying this since he was a young nastiness, you know. Find out he get through. But he didn't realize 99 days for the thief. Right? The thief. And there's only one day the watchman does want. Could you imagine a man that these foolish cult-like followers seem to revere, telling his elected women folk when supporters come complaining to them about how things hard and how they're hungry, empathize with them, but do not make the mistake of giving them anything at all, so they feel the pinch and get so resentful of the NDC administration that they will encourage all their relatives and friends in similar positions like them to come out in their droves to vote against the NDC next election. Could you imagine he really expects these people to survive their hardship for another 4 years and remain alive just to vote for him? What kind of old nastiness is that in truth? Well, of course, that's politics. That's politics. You have to understand politics. You have to understand this thing is a game. And I master that game. Yet for all among you like him, you can't see this old nastiness is about power. Power for himself and himself alone, while the wench of a faceless monster stare the old idiot and isolate him from everybody. Folks, we're not going back there. Young people, pull up your chair because you will be making a big mistake. The world is in turmoil. There's no exit strategy. You better use this opportunity you have to transform Grenada and build it and make it a place that you can truly live, as against playing gamble with it for it to end up in the hands, God forbid, of that old nastiness. I advise every Grenadian to take time to develop yourselves so that when you offer and present yourselves, you will be strong enough so the dunce and foolish who rise up to attempt to tear you down can never succeed. Remember, some of these same people are the ones who promote this Black Lives Matter nonsense. We have seen this on display within the two political parties, where lesser educated dunce and greedy supporters of either of the main parties, bludgeoning one another in internal party elections, where bitterness and guile prove difficult to heal. And they want to sport a fake united front for your support. That is precisely why my active support for any political party died with the GULP. And I still consider myself a Garyite, full stop. You see, my total and complete disgust for the old nastiness benefits the main political contenders. Needless to say, Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell is one of my personal friends and brothers, a member of my very small circle in whom I repose tremendous confidence. I shall support him to the max until he's no more. The party he leads will therefore benefit. But if they do not get their act together, after he would have gone on, I would have gone on too. Remember, it is older I am getting, and I know what enough means, and will never be like others to stay in the thick traffic and get run over, like the old nastiness is being run over by so many people so very often. As I close here today, folks, I again congratulate all who played a role in preparing the launch of the 50th anniversary celebrations, as superbly executed on Tuesday last at the Carronage St. George's. You all well come strong. You come strong, strong, strong. You see, I cannot fathom what that may have looked like had the National Nasty Party been in office. Maybe our consistent reaction may have been, oh, Gid. If that launch could be so spectacular, we should really have lots to look forward to as the countdown to 7th February 2024 unfolds in the upcoming weeks and months. God has really been good to Grenada over the years and always rescues us in time. Thank you, God, for rescuing us from the fangs of the old nastiness and his wench of a faceless monster. As we proceed in this desperate season for the old nastiness and what's left of his National Nasty Party, be careful what you give your attention to, people, for fear that you get distracted and lose your focus. There are even people, where you see, because people in Grenada have deteriorated so badly, even the current administration, the party that has offered itself successfully to government, have some kind of people in it too, floating all kinds of nonsense, misinformation, rubbish, just because they themselves have deep-rooted envy and deceit for certain people in the ranks of leadership of the party. It is so sad, so sad. You know, I can't understand it, you know. Very, very sad. Me, for one, I keep focused all the time. I will never listen to the old nastiness. Not now, never. I never in the past and don't plan to start now. That old nastiness has been lying since the early 70s when he entered politics. Never changed. He got better at it. Remember, he was caught with his hand in the cookie jar of the Grenada shipping agents and had to write agreeing to make good and was pardoned. So I know what he is, and he never changed. He just got better at being the worst kind of human being. You see it on display whenever they wind him up, the faceless monster, wind him up and send him out. I don't know if he sees those pictures or reflections of how he looks. But all you could say to how he looks is, oh, kid. He ain't good, and he ain't good long. I therefore have no stomach to entertain his low frequency and energy levels. That's all. Other people who feel they will hear anything honest and reflective of integrity coming from him, when they insist on listening to him, will consistently be disappointed. He needs to be marketed only as a liar and downright con man that he is, and allow his audience to dwindle, to match the total disgrace he deserves as a totally failed leader who took his nation, his organization, to extremely low levels. Sad that these could reflect irrefutable reflections, so to speak, of a man who occupied high office in our land for so long and left the country worse off for it. As we finally close, I feel, because that demonic spirit is so alive and allowed to run amok in this country, we need to pray to get rid of any dwelling evil among us, whether in our homes or just lurking around the atmosphere in Grenada, in and over Grenada. Folks, join me. Heavenly Father of this universe, we come before you with our hearts burdened by the presence of darkness among us. We recognize that your power and love far surpass any forces of darkness that may try to invade our space. We simply ask for your guidance, protection, and strength as we seek to remove this evil from our midst. In the powerful name of God of our universe, we rebuke any and all kind of evil influences that may present in our home and country. We ask that you fill every corner with your divine light, driving away any darkness that seeks to linger. We declare this truth over our home and country and invite your Holy Spirit to take control and reign over every inch of our dwelling and trial and state. Continue to grant us wisdom to continue to identify and address any sources of evil that may have taken root. We pray that you reveal and expose any hidden snares that may be causing harm. Strengthen us to stand firm against any spiritual attacks and to resist the schemes of the enemy. Thanks for giving us authority over any evil presence, binding it in God's name and commanding it to leave. By God's holy power, we declare cleansing over our homes and the state of Grenada. We invite further your angels to guard and surround our dwellings and our tri-island state, creating a barrier of protection against all forms of darkness. Thank you, God, for your unfailing love and promise to never leave nor forsake us. We trust in your mighty hand to deliver us from any evil that may try to dwell in our midst. We surrender our home and our life in your care, knowing that with you nothing is impossible. These we ask in your name. Come on. Amen and amen. folks, we end here today. But of course, you realize we are going this way with the program. Let's keep at it, because you know these nastinesses are not taking a day off. And if they are not taking a day off, why should we? So I intend to do this for a long time, because it's important. It is necessary. So I'm in, I'm out. And just before I am gone, though, I think it is a little timely for me to just give you just a little piece of this, man. This thing is so beautiful. It isn't funny. Just a little piece.
If I take time and I write down all the things that I love on my island, best believe the list gon' be like 5 miles long. Best believe it's love that makes me sing this song. The cleanest breeze on the waters, friendly people meet in every corner. Togetherness and love is what we stand for. We stand for. Stand for. Oh, I am in the sun. Look at how we've grown, how far we've run. 50 years we strong and more to come. More to come. More to come. I'm going higher. 50 years we're blessed with motion fire. Still reaching for more. Going up, going up, up, and more. Going up, going up, going up, up. Higher. Going higher. As we aspire, build up ourselves, put people together. Bang, bang, bang. It's only up from we take time to reminisce on the richness of our history from the beginning. From the people who came through sugar and change, emancipation, the revolution. We are more than this pick up on the boat. We are more than the ice cream and gold. Much more than the clothes. Tell the world we are Grenadians. 3 islands united as one, blessed with the strength to carry on. We're more than just that island in the sun. Tell the world we are Grenadians. 50 years we're blessed with fortune fire. Oh, you mean? We going up, going up, going up, going up, going up, going up. Fire, build up and support people together. Going up, going up, going up, going up, going up. Really and truly, can't find the words to describe what my country means to me. So much things to take for granted, but so much things to give to me. Education, tranquility, family, community. In the matter we go in the world, that's not like to a best way of our heart. Yes, that's the shape of it, that's the shape of it, I can't even bring it on. I can see the vision clear. So many times I've had the people here. Look at how we're gonna know far we've come. 50 years we strong and more to come. More to come. More to come.
Wonderful, folks. So I want you to stay safe this coming week. Put your shoulders to the wheel. We have a new Grenada. We have something that we want to build now. We have a proper leader, not a mama guy man that going away and talking about who thieving chicken in hospital and all kind of old low-class nonsense. We have a statesman, somebody that gives us renewed hope in our country, somebody that can actually inveigle an interest in us to be patriots once more, somebody that we can voluntarily follow. Folks, thanks for joining. Continue to share. See you next week, God willing, for regular programming. Until then, stay safe, stay well, and remain lifted. God, remain lifted. Peace and blessings to all of you. Cheers.
Eddie Frrderick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frrderick can deliver. Eddie Frrderick has got it all.
Welcome to EDDIE-FICATION, made possible by the efforts of the Center for Democracy and Good Governance, CDGG. The Center for Democracy and Good Governance is a sound organization established to promote and strengthen democracy. For too long now, our generally perceived poorly educated electorate have fallen victim to the cheap and inferior propaganda of those seeking to hold others captive under the guise of democracy. Gladly, the CDGG uses edification to help to actively pursue a sustainable approach to reorient our people towards the importance of electing and selecting people of good character to public life. Through edification, we will highlight the importance of education appropriate to our development, proper healthcare and facilities as our right, respect for law and order, not to mention upgrading our people's thinking so they could become qualified participants in the democratic process to their advantage. After all, Grenada's national constitution makes allowances for the ideal of free men to enjoy freedom from fear and want, which can be best achieved if conditions are created whereby everyone may enjoy his economic, social and political, civil and cultural rights.
I want the best for my family, so every meal has to be perfect. Every bite has to say, There's no doubt in my mind that the best in frozen meats and vegetables has to come from the Country Cold Store. Hams, turkeys, sausages, beef, pork, chicken. I just don't know my family is in safe hands. Thank you, Country Cold Store, for being there for us for the past 40 years.
The Country Cold Store, providing the best in frozen meats and vegetables since 1969.
Join us, Grenada, as we continue to promote a legacy of excellence through the Pure Grenada Excellence Champion Training Program. Over 1,000 Grenadians have been trained. Food, transportation, service industries, and other frontline workers who don't want to miss out on this one. Learn more at www.puregrenada.com/excellence champion or call GTA head office at 440-2001. Remember, excellence begins with me. Excellence ends with all our represent for 7
Training sessions will resume on mainland Grenada from 9th to 13th October and 23rd to 27th October, and November 6th to 10th and 20th to 24th, 2023, in this year of transformation for service in Grenada. I am Eddie Frrderick, a proud partner to this GTA Pure Grenada Excellence Champion Program. Get registered and come on in. You'll never think the same again.
Eddie Frrderick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frrderick can deliver. Eddie Frrderick has got it all. Eddie Frrderick has got it all.